baby I was babysitting wouldn't tell me his dad's secret, and I'm glad he didn't. Daddy has a secret, Caleb, my boss Daniel's son, sang to me as I played with him and his Legos. Being the ever-nosy babysitter, I leaned forward. Oh? I asked Caleb. I'm not supposed to tell anyone, especially not mommy. He nodded firmly, and as serious as a 4-year-old could be. Why can't you tell your mommy, Caleb? All Caleb does is chuckle at me. For 2 hours, I was being outmaneuvered by a 4-year-old. I was left puzzled when Caleb's mommy, Catherine, came home. She paid me for the babysitting with an easygoing personality. Before I left, I turned to Catherine. Does Daniel have a secret? Catherine chuckled the same way her son did. Oh, it's his secret to tell, before shutting the door in my face. I was left staring at the door with disbelief and pure curiosity. As I told the story to Amelia, my roommate, she also became highly invested. What secret do you think Daniel has? That's the problem. I don't know. I throw my hands up as I continue pacing. What if he likes you? Amelia suggests. His wife knows, I point out with a deadpan expression. Well, that's out of the question, Amelia muttered. What if he is planning something nice for you? She suggested slowly. Like? How the frick should I know? She shrugs her shoulders before going to bed. I stayed up trying to figure out what secret Daniel seemed to have for me that Caleb and Catherine seemed to know about. I racked my brain until the early hours. All I came up with was a headache. The next day, Catherine smiled a secret smile at me as she opened the door. Caleb was already bouncing off the walls. Can you take him to the park for 2 to 3 hours? Catherine asked. I nodded in acceptance. Come on, Caleb, we're going to the park. Caleb shouts in joy. Yeah, before taking my hand and practically dragging me out the door. On the way to the park, I couldn't help but note the neighbors smiling at me. Most of them never seemed to even notice my existence before. The whispers also followed, but I couldn't make out any words. Any reason why the neighborhood seems particularly interested in me, Caleb? I questioned curiously. It's Daddy's secret to tell silly, before bolting to the swing set. All I could do was raise an eyebrow. What was Daniel's secret? For over 2 hours, I followed Caleb's lead. I pushed him on the swings. We had races up and down the slides. We played hide and seek. I taught him how to safely goof around on the monkey bars. Plus, we had played a long game of tag. I asked Caleb, want to stop and get some ice cream? Yes, please. He nodded eagerly at the thought as he took my hand. As luck would have it, there wasn't a line. The owner known only as Jet let out a squeak when he saw me. I was getting tired and frustrated by this now. What? I snapped at Jet. Nothing. Nothing at all, ma'am. He shook his head like a wet dog. What can I get for the 2 of you? My eyes narrow. 2 vanilla cones. Jet nodded and quickly took my change as he handed the cones to me. I pass one to Caleb as I note Caleb shaking his head frantically at Jet. My eyes narrow further. Why don't you find us a seat, bud? I rustle Caleb's hair. Caleb nods and wanders off. I immediately turn to Jet. You know something? Spill it, I practically demanded. Jet stutters for a minute before opening his mouth. Daniel is... Jet is cut off as Caleb yells out, I found the perfect spot. Come over and eat your ice cream before it melts. I grit my teeth as I glare at Jet one last time before sitting with Caleb. My mind couldn't figure it out. What was Jet going to say? What is Daniel's secret? What the heck is going on? I carry the worn-out Caleb on my back, his head resting on my shoulder and neck. I sigh tiredly as I finally see his house in sight. I open the door and make my way to Caleb's room. I gently set him down and tuck him in for a nap. As I close the door, I make my way to Daniel's office, which I had noted had light seeping out from the bottom of the doors, which was odd considering he usually worked 9 to 5 and it was barely 3 p.m. I knock, no answer. I knock again and still no answer. I tried the door handle and surprisingly it was unlocked. I cautiously entered. Surprise! A bunch of neighbors, Jet, Amelia, Catherine, and Daniel yelled, jumping out of hiding spots. I yelp as I jump backwards and place a hand over my heart. What is all of this? Daniel comes up to me with a wide smile. My secret is a surprise birthday party for you. I stare blankly at Daniel before muttering to myself, I forgot my own birthday.